right, welcome back, guys. And those of you just tuned in after our game, final score, Grey Knights, 89 to a Votann 45. Grey Knights side cannons, the boost is good. Dread Knights, boost is good. And I feel safe saying this only because Lane has already made reference into it. Tabling Votann in 3 turns.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I had one Hearthkin Warrior and one Grimnir left on the table. Oh, you know what? The Grimnir wouldn't have died because he can get back up on a 2-up.
Oh,
so he would have lasted one more turn.
Oh, man, yeah. He would have been there for one more turn. Still gave me the assassination points.
But, yeah, so, yeah. I don't think I played the Votann very well. Well, I guess let's talk about the Grey Knights a little bit first. And it's something I said before, is that the damage increase they gave you by just increasing the AP on one gun and adding to the weapon skill for the Dread Knights, that was enough. Because you're super durable and the most mobile army in the game. Giving anything more than that would have been ridiculous. But as we saw today, especially into the profiles I had here, it was great.
Yeah, it worked out really, really well. Like, I wasn't as effective with the side cannons in the early going, but then later on with stuff like the Thunderkin, the bikes, which were able to come off table and stuff like that, when I hit home, that was just squad gone. So that was really effective.
Yeah, the Dread Knights have a good damage profile into specifically this. Like if I played my Marines and had a bunch of 2-up Terminators and tanks and things, you're going to have more trouble damaging me. But
that 3 damage is nice though for that.
Yeah, but the Dread Knights have a good profile for picking up MSU armies and doing the work there, because that was you had the efficiency. You could bring an Nemesis Dread Knight in, and then it shoots with the side cannon and picks up 3 bikes just like that, and then it shoots and picks up a 5-man squad of Hearthkin Warriors, and then charges in and picks up something else in combat.
I only charged 1 time out of Deep Strike this game. That was only 1 time, and that was with the first Inescapable Wrath. That 8 rolled an 8.
Yeah,
love it.
But still, I mean, the fact that they have that efficiency to both shooting and fighting just means when all my MSU units are all over the table, you just have plenty of things to choose from. So I probably pushed forward too soon. I should have maybe held back a little bit. I don't know. I played Votann really well in 9th edition, but I haven't been able to play them very well in 10th edition. I feel like I definitely made some mistakes, but like the damage output increase that you got for the balance slate was just the right amount to really make you a damaging threat without being wildly overpowered.
Right. Yeah, that. I liked it a lot. I like how I was actually able to hit those things. Like you said, the AP2 being huge. And then also the boost of the weapon skill. So I was able to hit with the hammers and not have to worry about that. And hitting with that sword. I mean, the sword it didn't matter so much, but being able to hit on the 2, it did. I guess it really did. Hitting on the 2s with the sword was still really nice.
No, it definitely mattered because I got many of your Dread Knights down to being bracketed. So the fact of the better weapon skill definitely made a difference.
That's true. That is very true.
Because a lot of times I got them down to somewhere between 1 and 3 wounds. You know, so a couple of them had spent a couple turns on the table like that. So yeah, it definitely helped. Especially also. Never mind. No, I was going to say shooting out of combat, but it didn't improve their ballistic skill. I mean.
No. They did not improve the ballistic skill. It was just the sword and the hammer, which definitely helped out a lot here too. Having the Terminators as a 10-man brick and dropping that in first to the fray, I really now see a lot of value behind first to the fray. Putting those guys down, like I was leery on it. I was like, man, I want that true silver to be able to defend. But since the first of the fray allows them to enter on turn 1, I was able to rapid ingress them, and then I moved into center and was able to just clear. And I know there was some of the stuff I felt like you were a little confused. Like, okay, I left center, I left my home objective. Like I was just leaving objectives behind. I was full bore. I'll clear everything off the table and figure it out later. And it seemed like it worked. You know, that Terminator brick was just.
I definitely died.
This is true. That Terminator brick was just too much to be able to. Like you weren't really able to take care of it. You could put shots here or there, but at the end of the game, I have 1 Terminator off board for that, especially with the Apothecary being able to put 1 back.
Yeah.
So I like that. Purifiers got hit early, but they did work, and Crow still lived. And then Crow was able to go and take the home objective by being a smaller model to be able to land, hit, and then just march on the point. How you like that? Look, now over in the Votann, how you like that Psyker? He killed mine. He killed my Libby.
But mine, yeah, yeah. No, the Grimmir's pretty cool. Somebody won a GT with them or went something, blank and one with running 3 Grimnirs inside hecatons with 5-man Hearthkin squads that had split up, and they got them out. And if the hecaton shoots something, the rest of the unit that got out of it can shoot that, and they will reroll all wounds into that thing. So a bunch of those, 3 of those Grimnirs putting out all those shots apparently did a lot of work for somebody. So
that's a lot. Maybe it's something worth giving a try sometimes.
Yeah,
especially if I'm throwing something silly out here too. Just try it out, just to be able to actually get the feel for it. Because that's one of the tough things. Is like if you, and this is a tough thing with practice, you got to let your opponent know, like, hey, I'm trying something. It's a little weird. I don't know how it's going to work out. So maybe your opponent will dial back. Because if I go in there and just like, okay, I'm going to crack your hecaton on one and kill all the guys inside, you go, awesome. I literally got to see nothing efficiently.
Well, this past weekend, I played against a friend of mine, John, who was playing his Drukhari for the first time in 10th edition. He didn't want to play him before, and now they got the new detachment. He wanted to play that. So his first game with him, I brought my competitive Death Watch list, but we talked through everything and let him do a bunch of takebacks because he was trying something new. So I think it's good when you're trying something new and you're playing with a friend for practice, make sure you understand the full value of the army. I didn't want to play against him when he was forgetting things. I wanted to play against Drukhari, the new Drukhari, at their full ability. So we definitely did a bunch of takebacks and try that again and that sort of thing. So
yeah, most definitely too. Yeah, and then making sure that you're doing the rules right too, because he might look at, especially coming into the edition now and going, oh, I can get a stratagem for free. And if you're not familiar with the army, and then a free stratagem occurs, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, that's really strong. Then you look at it later on and go, oh, hey, wait, that's not a battle tactic. You didn't get that for free. So being able to take the time and do that and help and coach and that stuff definitely helps the community build. I mean, there's not really much else to say. I like how this ran. I'd like to run it again. It hits hard. It's really hard. And has a lot of, I mean, I felt like I was taking damage really quickly. Like I wasn't slowing anything down. It was just like bam, 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 bam. But then on the opposite end, which it's just kind of an uncomfortable feeling for me and how I play lists, I was then not taking damage late in the game because I was able to remove all the threats. If you don't have anything if you don't have any guns to shoot at me, you can't do any damage in the shooting phase.
Yeah.
And that's really a tough concept for me personally, because that's not how I play usually.
Yeah. And Votann definitely, I think John Lennon said they do damage by committee. So you need a whole bunch of units to focus on something. And once you kill, half the Votann army, it's more than a half reduction in damage output because they're just so inconsistent with all the little things.
Yep.
Like I dropped in the Thunderkin and blasted your Terminators and killed one, despite the fact that I got 66 shots that were hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, and I got you're 10 there, so I had a blast. It was 12 plus 66 shots. No, I killed. Yeah. So sometimes they just don't do it. And once you kill, a significant amount of the Votann army, their damage output just decreases exponentially more than
very quickly. Yeah,
because they don't have very many units that are just big single heavy hitter units.
How'd you like the Sagittar last cannon?
That's real good. It popped off a lot this turn, this game. Yeah, I rolled lots of 6s, so it's definitely it's just tricky to keep them alive very long because they only have 9 wounds.
I was getting concerned early on because like the first, I think you were like 7 for 8 on those things off the get-go, and I'm just like 7 for 8 that every time you rolled a hit, one of them was a 6. 7 out of 8 early on, and those were the weapons I didn't want to hit. It wasn't 7 out of 8. It was. I'm pretty sure.
When you say 7 out of 8, you mean it sounds like you said the first 8 dice I rolled were all 7 of them were 6s.
No, the first 7 Sagittars or first 8 Sagittars.
I was getting a lot.
There was a sustained hit with least. It felt like that might have been a little bit less, but it really was close to like 7 out of 8 Sagittars hit a sustained hit, and I was getting scared. I was getting really scared there. I'm like, dude, these are, because I couldn't, those were the ones that I couldn't invul in the early game.
Yeah.
Later on, like I said, it balanced back out. It was
your dice caught up. Yeah.
Yeah. Certain things like the Terminators just walled. They just absolutely walled. Like when your Thunderkid shot them, they just said no. I mean, I was ready to lose like 4 or 5 out of there, and I could have lost 4 or 5 out of there with no issue. But that's just not how it happened. And yeah, I did like that 10-man break, and it was nice to have a unit to just go, I'm OC30. You are not taking this from me.
Yeah.
So, any closing thoughts with this with Votann? Anything you might try and change or do for the next battle?
I'm not really not going to be playing Votann for a little while now. I've got probably 3 tournaments in the next month, which I'm going to be doing Death Watch for all of them. So that'll be what I'm practicing it to. I love the Votann, but I'm probably not going to get many games in because I'm going to be all in. There is in Cincinnati, there's a tournament called CAG Bash, a 2-day GT. That's at the beginning of March. So I'm planning to go to that. So I want to make sure I'm really well prepared for that. So there's a couple RTTs coming up that I'm going to try to go to. So it's going to be Death Watch all the time for me for the next month or so.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And then I'll have a bunch of lists I'll be running against you and throw stuff in there and we'll make it all happen. Get some nice content out here. As far as Grey Knights, I might look into a replacement for Librarian, but I mean, I like it. I would think I think I need to run this again.
Yeah. I mean, what about 6 Nemesis Dread Knights? Take 3 Grandmasters, and 3 regulars.
There you go. No, I think that the Libby fits a good role.
Well, here's the question: do you think in this mission you got to pull an extra secondary card? Do you think in some situations you might be difficult to score secondaries because you only have 5, 6, 7, 8 units in total?
So I feel like I was very CP starved. So I don't necessarily think it's might be a bad thing because I think I could use those command points to keep other things alive. And with the secondaries that require me to complete actions, I need to play that matchup without the 2 cards because there was the 2 turns where I just drew the cards and said, okay, I'll take these. This is fine. I can do this. So I need to see that. I need to see into other matchups too and see how it flows. And it's also a nice thing for the Librarian because Librarian could do those things. He could land on an objective, complete an action and stuff, and score me partial points. So, and I do kind of like him for that. So he may just stick in for that. So, all right. Well, that's about it for us. Cut it short like your game got cut short.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Early night tonight.
That felt good. That felt good to just really punch with the Grey Knights. So, all right, guys. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.